With the fast-paced growing genre of reggaeton music, largely popularized by Puerto Rican artists, it's easy to forget that Puerto Rico didn't get their biggest recognition in reggaeton. What if I told you there was one man that caused it all? What if I told you there was one man that paved the way for not only Puerto Rican artists, but Latino artists from around the world? A man so huge as an artist and as a person that he holds a record for literally the biggest rapper of all time. A man that left so much but too soon. Raps of complexity, a juggernaut of an artist. I'm talking about none other than Christopher Lee Rios, better known as Big Pun.
Boom! I mean, in my room I had this shotgun, and I was about to remove it, and I knocked it and blacked the nigga. That's my word.
Born in November 10, 1971 in the Bronx, New York, on the southern side in Soundview Projects, Big Pun was early on exposed to the worst possible life he could imagine. From abuse as a young kid, to his mom being in drugs, as well as his stepdad beating him every single day, Big Pun's life did not start off as sunshine and rainbows.
We went through a lot of hunger, a lot of, not being dressed properly, not having proper shoes.
As a young kid, Pun would always want to fight for his mother's love, Gail Tirado. But it would just never be enough, due to the fact that she was in a drug addiction. As a young kid, Big Pun would write every single day after coming home, whether it be from school, from basketball, whatever it be, he would always come home and write every single day. He did boxing and basketball as a young kid, so not just rapping. At 15 years old, he actually became homeless and dropped out of high school. Soon as he became homeless at 15, his girlfriend Liza actually hooked him up with a place to live in. He lived with his girlfriend's mom at the time.
He was basically homeless. He was 15 years old, 14, 15 years old, and he was homeless. And so my mother took him in. It was like more of like, I bendito, like compassion towards him, because he was like, he was so young and he was in the street. And he would leave early in the morning, he would go play basketball, and then he would come back late at night. Like, he didn't want to be in the way.
Tired of being broke, Big Pun took it to the streets and started selling drugs to the locals. And it didn't take long for him to get caught, as he spent one night in jail as a minor. And soon after being released from jail, he received a settlement from his park incident involving him breaking his leg.
Because when he was like 4 or 5 years old, he fell off a building in Clinton Towers in Manhattan. They were doing some construction in the park, and he climbed up a couple of stories up and he fell, which caused his ankle to break off. So the mother put a lawsuit, and they never settled it until he was 18. So by the time he was 18, they settled, and he had like $500,000. So he was like, oh my God, He was paid. He got this 18-year-old kid, he got like $500,000.
Using the money, he married Liza and became a young father of 2. During this time, which would be between the ages of 18 and 21, Pun started coping with childhood trauma and depression by eating. It was at this young age that Big Pun started calling himself Big Moondog and formed a crew called Full Eclipse.
And we all, we both liked to rap and we love hip hop, and he used to love music. That was his thing, music. Me, I used to just write hip hop in class, and then we got together, we started sharing, we rhymed, we started I started realizing how nice he was. Then he said the same thing about me, and then it was just like, let's just make a little group and see how far we could take it. But some playful shit, some kid shit.
Instantly, he stood out for his complex bars, his breathing control, and his fast-paced.
I blast a pig and slit his throat just for doom and L. My scales are human cells with choke, I puff and boom in hell. I doom the world like I was God and throw my gun away and snatch the moon out the sky and blow the sun away. Me and my brothers play hardcore.
Full Eclipse crew would actually have small gigs and would actually rhyme in the streets. Pun started to develop more and more and become a better lyricist throughout the years. And at 23 years old, with this crew Full Eclipse, they were rapping outside of a bodega in the Bronx. And none other than Fat Joe came in to pick up a Diet Pepsi. Pun immediately stopped him and told him, hey, let me rap for you.
So he's rhyming like the Pun we know, and then out of nowhere he said, snatch the moon out the sky and blow the sun away. Me and my niggas playing hardball, strictly hard. I was like, oh my God, get in the car.
After hanging out with Joe shortly after, he changed his name to what we know as today as the Big Punisher, which was a comic book inspired name. He would go on to join Fat Joe's group, Terror Squad. Fat Joe would help market and put him in as many songs as possible. He also put him in as many shows as possible. and without nobody knowing him, he would rip the mic and hype the crowd up, something that was rare stated by Fat Joe. Big Pun would take the Terror Squad to the next level, or in the words of Nasty Nas, was not only the missing piece of Fat Joe, but of hip-hop. But Fat Joe had to take care of Big Pun, knowing that he was a fearless man of pride. Big Pun said, quote unquote, "Soon as you disrespect me, I'll kill a nigga. I'll probably spend every night in jail crying, but the fact you disrespected me won't stop me from killing you." Soon after being with many projects with Fat Joe and Terror Squad, in 1997, Big Pun had his first big hit, I'm Not a Player.
Capital punishment when I'm up in it, sucking it, butting it out. Nice blouse, let me unbutton it. You're fucking with King Papi Chulo.
And the following year, he released Capital Punishment, which sold 2 million copies, becoming the first Latino rapper to go platinum. It would go on to go as #1 on hip-hop charts, being described as possibly the greatest rap album of all time. Big Pun was finally getting the recognition he deserved, and in one calendar year, he did an estimated 24 appearances for other artists. His success was not all the good, because the more success he grew, the more he grew. And he skyrocketed to an around weight of 650 pounds. And with the help of his family and friends, he took an effort to lose weight, and it actually worked, because he lost 80 pounds. He actually attended a Duke University diet program in 1999. One of his favorite exercises would be swimming. He wouldn't feel any of his joints and nothing. He felt like he would just be levitating. Unfortunately, the 80-pound weight loss did not help him out, and he quickly gained the weight back. And he actually gained more weight. So much weight to a point where he would actually struggle to answer questions asked by an interviewer until he sat down. He was so big that he actually had to cancel shows. Just for instance, a Saturday Night Live appearance with J-Lo and Fat Joe. Now his weight gain was not even close to his dark side, as he would intentionally hit his wife repeatedly times. The year 2000 rolled around and would unfortunately be his last year alive. While Big Pun's house in the Bronx was being renovated, him and his wife Liza lived in a hotel for a while. Big Pun would later take a nap on February 6th, 2000. He woke up and collapsed. His wife Liza at the time called the paramedics, and on February 7, 2000, Big Pun died in White Plains, New York at the age of 28, weighing nearly 700 pounds. The world was devastated. They would go on to organize a memorial, and many celebrities like Fat Joe would go on to celebrate the life of the late Big Pun. At such a young age, at 28 years old, there was still many collaborations he had to do. One of the most famous one he never did was a collab with Eminem. As Fat Joe stated, the night before the Grammys, which they were nominated for, Big Pun and Fat Joe waited in line inside of Tower Records to buy the Slim Shady LP in 1999.
I always tell a story. When his first album came out, it was Grammy week. So when you see us on that classic picture that me and Pun was at the Grammys looking like cartoon characters, and we stood the night before his album came out. So we stood on the long line at Tower Records to get Eminem's album.
Damn.
The first album, we bumped that all night, and then we went to the Grammy.
He lived a very traumatic life, and although he did project that trauma towards his wife, he is still widely recognized for his complex S-tier lyricism, fast-paced flows, and venomous rhyme schemes. He inspired many great artists including Daddy Yankee, Eminem, Nicky Jam, and much more. In the words of Daddy Yankee, he will always be the face of Latino hip-hop. All Latinos that are fans of hip-hop recognize that Pun is our leader. Soon more years passed and more people like Bad Bunny and Ozuna have come to the mix. But if it wasn't for that fat rapper from the Bronx, New York, who knows if they would still have a career to this day. My name is Compromise, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Fuck school. Understand? You want to be an artist, you do it. Fuck school. Yo. Fuck you still laying around here for? Do your thing, nigga. All right, then. Go.